If you are a beginning artist, an insecure artist, or someone who wants to make a career out of creativity, but doesn't really fit into any of society's boxes, this video is for you. So in this video, you'll learn 5 reasons why craft fairs are your best first step in building an art career in a whimsical, fun, and creatively stimulating way. You're going to learn how to make the most of your craft fair experience and fully tap into their whimsy and magic. And it took me 4 years of running my now closed art business before I dared to vend at my first in-person event. But once I did, I realized that they offer something that the internet really can't. Make sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to walk you through how to know if it's actually time for you to take this step. So grab yourself a lovely drink, cozy up, and let's dive in. Art fairs, craft markets, local events are a very low stakes way to begin. Before we get into this, I recognize that every craft fair is different. Some events are juried, which means that you have to apply probably months in advance with photos of your work and maybe a description and a bio. But other markets are super casual and they might operate just on a first come, first served basis. You do not need to have all the fancy trimmings before you even get started. You can build on it. I have seen 9-year-olds running booths. Okay, they had help, but most people who are vending at markets, they know what it's like to start from absolute scratch, to feel unsure, to be putting yourself out there for the first time ever. I used to think that there were 2 categories of people. People who were allowed to show up as artists, and then there were the rest of us. You might feel like you're not ready, that you don't belong, that you're not inherently an artist, so you're not good enough. But I think one of the most magical things about markets is that they will help you to fight back against that mindset, because as soon as you step into that room full of other creative beings, of vendors who are stepping out into their creativity, you are not alone with your doubts anymore. You are physically surrounded by real, living, breathing people who are going to stop and smile at your booth and tell you that they love what you've made. And there's something about having that physical proof. Someone reaching out and picking up your zine, someone reacting to a painting you made, or buying one of your stickers. That is going to remind you again and again, you belong here. Maybe you're not in a place where you can fight off those doubts on your own. So allow a community to come around you and help you fight. But they can't do that if you don't show up in that space first. So yeah, craft fairs are a low stakes way to begin. But what you can gain from them will feel huge, which leads us into our next point, and one of the most magical aspects of markets: community. Had to stop and get some coffee. Anyway, it's not just about selling, it's about connecting. There is something incredibly magical about just setting up a table, laying out your creations, and then the local community comes and peruses your things and buys them. It's giving cozy fantasy and real life Animal Crossing. People go to markets to support local artists and creatives. And yes, people will buy your work, but what you'll remember more than their transactions are their reactions. The boyfriend who sneaks back later to secretly buy a birthday gift out of all the things that his partner was eyeing. The repeat customer who starts coming to the market specifically because they know you're going to be there. To the shy, insecure, or uncertain artist like me and you, these are a treasure trove of your most valuable creative currency: confidence. Secondly, this is an incredible chance to be a part of a village of makers and artists and dreamers just like you. And once in a while, to everyone's deep chagrin, the occasional reseller sneaks in who's just selling Temu stuff. We don't talk about them. Anyway, if the idea of putting yourself out there, of being in a crowd, even if it's a crowd of creatives, makes your stomach twist, you are not alone. I am a shy, socially anxious introvert. And when I first started doing markets, I knew that meeting other creatives would be so valuable. But I also knew that I was not, absolutely not, going to casually strike up conversations with 10 people. So I set myself a cozy little goal. I had to talk to one fellow vendor at every market. That I knew I could do, even though it was still scary and it pushed me. You don't have to network like a tech bro. You just have to show up as yourself, because in this season, you're planting the roots to build your community. Speaking of building, our next point is all about how selling at markets can speed up your learning journey as an artist. Listen, craft fairs are not just for selling. You are going to glean so much information just by being in that space, which is why I would recommend, even if you're not ready to start selling, to start going to these events. You can learn how your fellow makers in your local area are pricing their products. You can observe how a painter describes their work and talks about what they do to a curious stranger. If you ever wanted a real world workshop on how artists make a living, go to craft fairs. Even more valuable than this, when you are actually selling, is seeing how your art lands live and in real time. When you just throw your art on the internet, whether that's, selling online or sharing your art online, you don't see people's reactions in the same way. But at live events, you'll get to notice the pieces that make people stop in their tracks. What makes them smile and call over to their friends, hey, come look at this thing. Honestly, it was surprising for me which of my pieces got the most attention. It's not always the things you'd expect when you compare with social media or selling online. This kind of data gathering teaches you more than the algorithm ever could, because it doesn't just teach you how to please social media. You can see people's body language. You can see the way they talk to their friends and not just directly how they talk to you. Now, one of the best parts of this is that markets are not a normal retail job. You can make this experience your own. Make it whimsical, make it soft, cozy. Sit back with a thermos full of tea, sketch in your notebook, tinker with jewelry, crochet, draw on your iPad. While you're doing that, existing cozily in this space in a way that gives you joy, you are going to be leveling up in your art because you're gathering data on how people connect with you, on how people interact with your art. Craft fairs are a space for variety and inspiration. It's like Pinterest in real life. There's a kind of creative cross-pollination that happens every time you're surrounded by beautiful, intentional, handmade objects. That kind of creative fuel is invaluable because it will open you up to experimentation. Algorithms really want repetition and they want you to make the same things over and over again. But that's not great if you're in an experimental phase and if you're trying out different art forms and different styles. At a market, you're gonna get the same traffic either way because the people are there moving through the space regardless, which means you'll get feedback. I must confess that I have saved the best point for last, in my opinion at least, because this was the most fundamental transformation that doing markets brought about in me. Standing behind your own booth at a fair for the first time is transformational because you are physically, tangibly taking up space in the world and declaring, I am an artist and I belong here. A seller of magical wares, a maker, a creative. No one has to bestow that title upon you. You don't need to be knighted. You simply reach out and grasp it for yourself. Now, how do we do that whimsically in a way that is soft and not terrifying? I would suggest becoming a part of your booth. Like leaning hard into what you actually love. Make the aesthetic of your display iconically you. Dress up to match it. Make that space sparkle with whatever it is you uniquely and personally offer the world through your voice, through your perspective, through your taste. Lean into what you love and affirm your own voice in every choice you make with your booth. Remember, you're the shopkeeper of this magical little world. This is your opportunity to make manifest the intangible underpinnings of your creative practice, to step into who you are and what you love in a bold, no holds barred kind of way. I'm not gonna pretend this is easy. It takes great courage to show up vulnerably, fully as you are, but it is so deeply empowering. For years, I personally hid only in the online world. I was only comfortable sharing my art and talking about my art in the online space. Because to be honest, it was just more comfortable. It is terrifying to go out and sit in the open where a bunch of people are looking at my art and judging it. But when I just started doing it, I discovered that taking up that space didn't crush me. It didn't swallow me up. Instead, I found it expanded as my confidence grew. I can't promise you any overnight changes. It might come slowly and it might be difficult, but my friend, you can do hard things. You can rewire your brain and step into the life you were born to live. I promised that before we finished, I would talk about how do we know when we're ready to start selling. First things first, I really want to take skill level mostly off the table. If you are a complete beginner at what you're doing, whatever craft or art you're doing, it's very likely not the time for you to start selling. You want to be able to sell a product that you are proud of. However, if you're watching this video, that is probably not the case. But here are a couple things to consider before jumping in. Number one is, do you have enough product? Do you physically have enough product to display at your table? Number two is, do you actually have time in your schedule? Do you have the bandwidth? If you're feeling very emotionally vulnerable right now, maybe you've just faced a major rejection or setback, it might not be the best time to jump in, because slow days can happen at markets and it can be really rough on the ego. So if you're in a particularly vulnerable place, it might be a good idea to give yourself some time to heal. And I do also want to say that if social anxiety or any other health concern is something that's holding you back, totally understand. If it's something that would help, I strongly encourage you to consider asking a friend or loved one for support. None of us can do this alone, and you shouldn't feel bad about needing help. I had so much help from friends, particularly from my husband. And then my last point here is ask yourself, am I at the right phase in my journey? If you are in a growth-focused phase, you're trying to rapidly develop your artistic skills, then jumping into selling too soon can actually slow you down. But this does not mean that you should wait to perfect your craft before diving in. So if you said yes to most of these, then a craft fair might be exactly the right next step for you. But if you're still unsure, that's okay too. There's no rush. But then again, please don't stand in your own way for 4 years like I did. So, in summary, craft fairs can offer a low-stakes, welcoming space where you can start sharing your art no matter your level. Create powerful human connections. both with your audience and with other makers. Help you learn faster than the algorithm ever could. Spark inspiration by immersing you in a vibrant, eclectic, creative realm. And most importantly, help you see yourself truly as the artist that you are. You don't have to wait for perfection or permission or a certain follower count. You just have to start, maybe with just a folding table and enough prints to cover it. Maybe with a friend by your side, a thermos of tea in your hand, and your heart pounding in your chest. But that first step you take, it might just change everything. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here. If you want more cozy, whimsical encouragement and creative fuel, please subscribe. So until next time, I hope that you have a gloriously creative rest of your day. Bye for now.